You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Welcome back to the forecast. We review movies, films, documentaries, a completely different way, 4 different perspectives. It will just be the 3 casts tonight. Doc will not be on, but we do have myself, Wilkes, and H-Rap as we move on to part 2 of OJ Made in America. And people asking, why are you guys doing this? Well, first it was recommended by Al High, a viewer and member of BS3 Network, and it's the recent, passing of OJ. So I feel it'd be good to go back and do this documentary, which was done very well, and it gave you a kind of a complete look at what was going on in LA at that time. So it's called OJ, but the Made in America part really touches on the different aspects of his life and what was going on in LA. So. We back again. Wilkes, how you doing?
Oh, doing good. Ready to dive into this one. I was a little upset toward the end, man. I was like, man, they already trying to frame this man. Get out of here, man.
Yeah, man. That's the direction the whole thing was going. Eventually it was to get to that point. So yeah, definitely. All right, we'll A-Trap should be back here in just a minute.
Gotcha.
But yeah, man. So this one kind of kicked off with his retirement, which was 1979, and he was kind of looking at, what am I gonna do next? What's my next what's my next career path? And he got into acting, which I felt like was he seemed to have done a good job, was getting some pretty decent roles.
Yeah.
And to be like a former athlete turned actor, that happens even more often now. So this wasn't like a surprise, but I wanted to give his stats real quick. So he had 11,236 yards rushing. At the time, he was second on the all-time list, and now he stands at 21st. So I think during that particular time, I mean, he was up there with the best. I think his talents showed that. A-Trap.
Oh, yeah, most definitely, man. Juice was the man. I mean, what we need to always keep in perspective when we look at, this is why I don't like to show stats, because what stats don't show you is Juice played 14 games a year.
Right.
So, you got 2,000 yards in 14 games. You got 11,000 yards in 14 games. A lot of the guys ain't even getting 10,000 yards in 16, 17 games.
Yeah.
So, he was on the precipice of breaking what was perceived as the unbreakable record. So this dude, and then for those people who love stats and that helps them design who the person is or identify who the person is. This is what I want those people to do. I want you to say, since you love stats so much, what I want you to do is forget the stats and name one of his teammates. Name 3 people who played with him. I give you 2, Ahmad Rashad and Joe Ferguson. You probably didn't even know Ahmad Rashad was a football player, and you probably don't know who Joe Ferguson is.
Yeah. I give you that. That's a great point, because I don't know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I know the coach just by watching this, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know any of the players. So,
right.
I agree with you there. That's a great point.
Oh, absolutely. 100. Yeah.
Wilkes, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that, like anybody that whether people think he made a grave mistake, some people don't think he made a mistake. You can't take away what he's established. I mean, he's separate from whatever person you think he is outside of his talents. It's like you said, like HR was just saying, I mean, he was on a path of creating something that was untouchable. Like I'm gonna break this record, set this record, and then dare somebody else to come behind me. You know, he did these things, acting. Excuse my dogs in the background here. They just
right. You're right.
But yeah, no, I like the fact that, you know, I didn't watch this when this first came out, and it caught my attention then, but I just never got around to it. So I'm glad we're watching it now, and it's done really well, and I'm enjoying it. And I like to see what was established because, like I said, when I was growing up, OJ was Hurts, Naked Gun, and that was it. Then next thing we know, he on trial. You know, that's all I really remember, and maybe a few things because he played for the Buffalo Bills, but that's really about it.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I agree. I agree with you there for sure. And I think he was obviously one of the best at football, and then he kind of turned his focus into acting, and it kind of went into. You know, talked about where he stayed, which was in Brentwood. I don't know. Are you frozen? Oh, okay. I thought you was frozen.
No.
But it went into where he lived. So he lived in Brentwood, and that was kind of an LA suburb, if you will, kind of in the hills and away from a lot of the action and away from where a lot of things happen. Definitely not in a black area. And it talked about a couple of things that went on that I definitely wanted us to touch on. Eula May Love was one of the kind of racial occurrences that happened, with the police, and it's, Wilkes was saying it's very similar to what is going on now. This is not like so far fetched that this stuff doesn't go on now. And,
I just want to add real quick to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was mind-blowing because, like you said, I'm 43. Growing up in the 90s, I'm in high school. I'm watching Martin. I'm watching In Living Color. I'm listening to rap music. I'm not thinking about what's happening in the news like that. I'm not paying attention to that because I'm into that iconic pop culture, what's being established away from, grown, as they say, grown folk business.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about this until now. Like shame on me, baby. But when I watched it, it was such a stark reality of like cops still getting off.
Yeah.
Getting off in the hell, probably getting off long before the 90s, long before the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. I mean, just getting off, period. And then we look at Eric Garner and we look at Tamir Wright. I mean, all this, it's just like, man, you just keep getting off. So when I saw it, it was just like, well, nothing's really changed. I mean, why would I think it did? Right. And the disappointment in the people that were there, and just like they couldn't believe, like, damn, we got evidence, and that still wasn't enough.
Yeah,
it blew my mind when I saw it because, like I said, I'm growing up in the 90s. That's oblivious to me. Yeah, OJ trial caught my attention. Yes, the riots caught my attention. The Desert Storm that was going on, war around the world. I mean, it was just a lot going on. But like I said, pop culture was establishing itself in hip hop and rap and gangster rap and TV and movies and black media. Like that was what I was absorbed in. Yeah, when I saw the news, I didn't hear anything about things like this. Now we have more media, and it's like it's widespread.
Right.
H-Rap may remember most of I didn't remember any.
Yeah. Hey, I may change the view real quick. I don't know. That may not be better. Okay. On air producing. But so she was 39 years old, and the way the story goes is officers came to her. No, actually, the gas company came to her house to collect, and she ended up going somewhere to get the money, and she came back, and the cops were there. It was a $66 gas bill. Like this wasn't like she was burning down the house and they needed to rescue, or she was selling drugs out of the back. It wasn't any of that. So the bottom line is there's a different way to handle things. And the LAPD, which was led by the chief, what was his name?
Daryl Gates.
Steve Gates, yeah. and his main focus was they had an operation called Operation Hammer, and their main focus was just to brutalize people, not even to get the full information, but just to brutalize people so that you could show your force, and that was it. That's basically what it came down to. Now, A-Trap, so you're a little bit older than us. That was 1979. Is that something you remember, or
not at all?
Thoughts on that? No,
not at all. Watching this a few years ago and watching this again for the coverage of this, brought that to my attention. See, you have to realize in 1979, what happened in Chicago, only Chicagoans knew. What happened in LA, only LA PD, only LA citizens knew, and so forth and so on. So you're looking at a time in which the news came on, like it used to be a ad here in Chicago. I'm just saying ABC, CBS, NBC. The news in Chicago comes on at 4:36 and 10.
Yeah.
And then WGN got a news station, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna get people to pay attention to us," and they came down. So if you couldn't squeeze it within that 30 minutes,
right,
it had to be a national story.
Yeah.
And let's just be honest, with the racial tensions of the United States of America, they are not gonna put the LAPD, CPD, NYPD, Dallas PD, or whoever else PD on blast. They did everything they could to cover those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So these things were not being shown. Only thing that was national news like around that time were the hostages in Iran.
Yeah.
This is when childproofing came into play. Because it used to be you could go into a Walgreens and just open up a pill bar, pull something out, put your hand in the bar. And then somebody started putting cyanide in Tylenol. So that's why you have the childproof. No, not childproof. That's why you have the seals and stuff now.
Yeah.
So those are.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's why I was saying, like, to H-Rap's point, and like I said, when growing up in the 90s, I don't remember this stuff being like, you had local news. They may have touched on, the riots in LA, blah, blah, blah. All right, back to you. But, they didn't harp on that.
I just remember war coverage. Yeah.
Right.
That's the only thing I remember. I don't remember anything going on the East Coast or anything going on up north. Or
Desert Storm, Desert Shield was happening.
And see, this is something else that you guys didn't even realize. Because it was the year I left high school, CNN was born that year, 1988. It was laughed at. It was a literal joke. The running joke was, what are you going to talk about 24 hours a day?
Right.
And then this young lady got stuck in a well, and they did 24-hour coverage to get her out of the well. And then they said, oh, wow, we do need news all the time. So think about it. From 88, it's not even 10 years into this when the OJ thing happened. So just look at the maturation of the news media from just 88 to 96 when the juice was going through this situation. So you didn't know anything unless it was something horrific. Like I remember watching around that time, I think it was 81. John Lennon was assassinated. He was shot in front of his house. It was on Monday Night Football. Only reason I know that is because Howard Cosell announced it. The president was shot. The Pope got shot. Those were the kind of things that were on the news.
Right. And then 85 or 86, the shuttle blew up.
The shuttle blew up. The shuttle blew up. And if you look, put like this, let me show you guys how obtuse the news was at that time and how little you will know about what's going on. In Philadelphia, and like around the same time, a plane hit a towering building that still stands today.
Wow.
Well,
haven't heard of it.
Right. Just imagine a plane hitting a building in 1995. Oh, yeah, by the way, 4 years before OJ was when we were first introduced to Osama bin Laden, because he tried to blow up the World Trade Center Center with
The
trucks.
first time, yeah.
That was his
in the
first
drive, in the
Right.
in the parking garage. Yeah.
Wow.
So
let me give a shout out real quick to Cole Johnson. He started a show 2 weeks ago called BS3 Presents The Morning Shift.
Nice.
He's doing a great job. It's on BS3 Network on Roku, also on this particular YouTube channel. So make sure to check that out. Appreciate you for tuning in. He said the only news coverage that happened in the late 1970s was local. The only national news we had back then was 30 minutes. That's exactly what A-Trap said. And 2 hours of Today and Good Morning America. Yeah, man. And side note, right now the Mavs are on. If you're in Dallas, you are probably watching split screen and all types of stuff. The Mavs are on, the Stars are on, and the Rangers are on. So what we will try to do, keep you updated on the score. I got the TV on in the background as well. But I think if this really, and you may ask, how does this relate to OJ? That's a great question. That's what we're about to do. And so for him, I'm not gonna say he didn't care. I think he didn't want to be associated with anything that was going on in those areas. So he didn't talk about it. People did come to him and say, hey, what's your thoughts on this? What's your opinion on this? Yeah. And he really just said, like, I'm not, one of his other comments was, I'm not black, I'm OJ. And I think too, he was trying to build something. Yeah. And he didn't want to be tied to, I'm just gonna say, he didn't want to be tied to niggas, or he didn't want to be tied to certain areas. And he lived in Brentwood, and what they were talking about throughout this is he was able to code shift and deal with different people.
Yeah. Let me interject. I want to, again, man, I was one of the people who used to excoriate OJ Simpson. And so, of course, I'm 53 years old now, and I see the world in a different light. I still wish I would have appreciated him stepping up and being the athlete standing up for the community. But everything isn't for everyone. You know what I mean? You can lead by being an example. I don't see OJ as a sellout. OJ Simpson, before he passed away, like maybe a month and a half before he passed away, he cleared up that I'm not black, I'm OJ thing. The statement, I'm not black, I'm OJ, came about when Johnny Cochran was in one of the power meetings saying, hey, this is going to have an effect on the black community. Johnny Cochran knew what was on the way, right? Mm-hmm. Because let's not forget, Johnny Cochran is the dude who got a bunch of people off Michael Jackson, a bunch of other people, and Snoop Dogg. And Johnny Cochran is a dude who defended. Only case he lost was Geronimo Pratt, who he eventually got him out of jail. So he saw what was coming. When OJ was hearing this, he said, hey, stop, man. I ain't black, I'm OJ. He wasn't doing it as a renouncing our community point of view. He was doing it as, I don't want to hear all this stuff about black folks. Let's talk about OJ and going home.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. And like I mentioned, I think he knew that I've got to separate myself from that because I'm trying to establish a figure that's a blueprint of how to become successful and how to become its own entity. It's almost like, oh, this is OJ. Like, this is an OJ, like a formula in math. It's like, this is the OJ theory, or this is the OJ process. This is how you get to point A to point B kind of thing. And he knew that, hey, maybe if I step in this, now I'm consumed, and this might be something where they're going to expect me to always speak. They're going to expect me to always show up. And that's just not in my repertoire. That's just not something I do. But if you want to talk about acting or me promoting something, then I will do that. But I think he knew that, as a businessman in that time, owning certain things, like I've got to, unfortunately, he's like, I got to separate myself from that.
Yeah. And I mean, it was two different worlds. If you think about Brentwood, which was mostly white, and you think about South Central, and you think about all those areas, it was two different worlds. And they talked about this in the documentary. And in Brentwood, there wasn't even one of the cops was saying, it was a white neighborhood. You drive around, there's really not a lot going on. And
I just want to say this real quick, Ben. I just want to jump in here. I think in OJ's mind, I could be wrong. I think he thinks if I embrace these things, then I lose my grip on this thing. I can't lose my foothold here because they've welcomed me in. I've made my way, and now, like he said, I like you said earlier, he knows how to code talk. If I embrace this thing, now I've lost my foothold here. It's already a fragile thing, so I got to establish this thing to let them know
and
that.
Now we hindsight is 2020. We fast forward,
right?
Like as soon as his legal issues and as soon as that came up, it was over. Like, you live in our neighborhood, but we don't know you anymore.
That's what I said. It was a fine. He knew I'll lose my footing here if I don't embrace this. If I embrace this, then I lose my foothold.
Yeah.
Now I'm not OJ anymore.
Yeah, but he can do whatever he wants. He went where he wanted. He can get in places. He was famous. I mean, he was just one of those people that had the ability to, be able to talk his way in and out of situations. And he was famous enough that people knew him wherever he went. It wasn't like he was just famous in certain areas. And he I'm not gonna fault him. You use that to your advantage. You use that to build your brand. That's exactly what happens today. Hey, Chuck, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, man. And then you know what? It really annoys me when people of my age group and older look at OJ and they excoriate him. And they look at him like, how could you? The reason I say that is this. Look, I remember, put it like this. I got a homeboy. Sidebar, I got a homeboy who started his own medical transportation business. I helped him start it. I was helping him do some driving until he found someone.
Yeah. And
to a person, every time it's this one neighborhood in Chicago, before Dr. King had the housing bill passed in 1968, Chicago is to this day and was extreme, even more segregated. And every one of those elders that got on that vehicle, on that transportation van with me, shout out to my man Marquise, they had no problem with the reverends telling me I'm one of the first blacks in this neighborhood. So when and these people are about 6 to 8 years older than Juice is. So for people to just excoriate him and drag him through the mud and treat him as if he did something wrong is wrong, because a lot of us were aspiring to get to it's this neighborhood where a lot of black doctors and lawyers live in Chicago. They call it Peel Hill, but it's all black. But I'm just using Peel Hill as an example because I know somebody from Chicago when the show Peel Hill is all black, but they wanted to get to the quintessential Peel Hill.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't want to hear this nonsense about OJ a coon and he a sellout, because there's a lot of black folks to this day. I mean, see, I call them the bootstrappers. Put yourself up by your bootstrap. But even Dr. King said, "How you gonna pull them, by my bootstrap? And you took my boots."
Right. Exactly.
I don't even have boots. Yeah.
I don't even own a pair. Yeah.
To quote Big Mo, the greatest joke in the history of the world is called hindsight.
In the hindsight of things.
Yeah.
Right.
Because again, man, I look at this, and as we go on, I had a bunch of thoughts on this because I watched it the other day, and I'm watching it again so I could relate to Wilkes, because Wilkes has not watched this, and I watched it as a 46-year-old man. Now I'm watching it again as a 53-year-old man, and it's a totally different documentary, so it's even more fun to watch it with Wilkes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I mean, oh gosh, especially like I said, when they got to some of those trials and the cops kept getting off. I mean, it was just I could see the faces of people of the cases that have happened now, and even with, I hear OJ now, and it's like, to me, I think he realized that I got to hold on to this. I've got to stake my claim in this thing, because I know they like me and I'm talented. But if they realize that I'm promoting this, or they think I'm pro-black, and they think I'm automatically anti-white, they're not going to understand that. But so I've got to establish this thing. So hell, you could say it was probably complicated, but that's just
yeah. Oh, it was. I mean, and you could even some of the guy from Hertz. I mean, he was very complimenting of OJ, and he said, "Man, he knew how to talk." You know, all of those terms that were used to basically say you like what you wanted the good ones. You know, he could talk really well, he dressed really well, and he was just able to do these things. And then when it got to the point where later on in the episode, when it started talking when he was beating on his wife and these other things were going on, they were like, yeah, he wasn't that great of a guy as we thought he was. And as you get further along, I mean, they're about to torture him because now you're on trial for murder.
Right. Now you're gonna light him up.
And that's the beauty in America, right? And I mean that in a facetious manner. That's the beauty of America. Yep. As long as you're doing what we want you to do, you're cool. Let's not forget, man. And I am going, you know, people always say, I hate to lump people in, but I'm about to lump people in. This country was established by old rich white men who contradicted themselves in a contract in which they created, and we hold in such reverence. All men are created equal, besides these white men, indigenous and black men that we have as slaves.
Right.
Besides them, we all created equal.
Right.
You know,
that's the fine print.
Our wealth
put in there.
Oh yeah. By the way, women are lower than these niggas.
Right. Exactly.
It's like mind blowing, and then we sit up here and write another speech to create a more perfect union.
Thank you.
You could have did that in the beginning. What are you talking about?
Right, exactly.
But I will, even with those imperfect men, I will even give one of them credit, which is he, in my eyes, he's a child molester and a rapist and a human trafficker. Everybody know him by the name of Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah,
he had an affair with a 14-year-old. No, that's molestation.
Yeah,
and that's rape. And but to his credit, I will give him credit. He did say this Constitution that we wrote should be rewritten every 20 years.
It should, because he know it's not going to hold.
Because he know it was trash.
Right. He knew it wasn't going to stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get to some comments here. Cole says, OJ was very careful with his image. I'm sure you covered that last week when he said, I'm not black, I'm OJ, back when he was at USC. He also says that came up due to when Bill Russell, Jim Brown, Lou Alcindor rallied around Muhammad Ali when he was about to be ostracized for not going into the U.S. Army. Yeah, we definitely got into that last episode. What I find interesting is USC is near an inner city LA neighborhood. Yeah, it's right there in that area. You right on the other side of the stadium, which they were telling them don't go over there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. There's an element of not wanting to appear hood or ghetto that ran prevalent starting in my mother's generation. A-Trap and I are the third generation of those who pushed that. OJ Simpson was one of the greatest case study code switching. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What's up, CJ in the building? Appreciate you for tuning in, man. Make sure to subscribe to that channel. I believe he's at 5,000 subs right now, man. So keep pushing it. Just don't play it up loud at work. All right, don't play it up loud at work in your cubicle. If you may get pulled to the side.
Tell him we want to see him at that boxing match coming up next in July.
Yeah.
AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
And another thing, what was one of the most insulting things when, like you just mentioned, how glowingly they spoke about Juice when he was the guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
But then he sits up and lies to our face. He needed to know that in this world we don't cheat. Are you lying?
Right.
Did you really say that to a camera where we're gonna see this into perpetuity?
Yeah.
Speaking of perpetuity, you and your cohorts, your comrades are the same people that get people to sign to get poor, uneducated about the law youth to sign business contracts that says I will own your name, likeness, and image through into perpetuity through all universes. And hey, I found this out just watching Drink Champs. The contract literally says you have to die 7 times.
Oh,
What?
Yes,
Yeah.
Nori said the contract says you have to literally die 7 times.
Wow.
So this is the dude that's telling us that OJ is the scum of the earth cheating at golf.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, and I don't know anybody who play golf who don't cheat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't cheat at golf. Like, stop.
Yeah, right. Like, come on, man.
Stop, bro.
Come on.
I'm over
man.
here in the fucking sand trap, man. Cut out, man. Get out of here, man. Stop it, man.
This
Stop
ain't
me
the
in the
masses.
woods over here.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And they were like, "Yeah, we don't do that. We don't do that in this sport." He needed to know how to really play this game right. Like, come on,
Right? He did play it right,
Right.
y'all, because he knew y'all in life were cheated. So you mean to tell me all y'all run around here with mistresses, all y'all around here with these insider trading, all these backdoor business deals,
Of course.
doing this
Why do
28
you think
stretch of land?
Why do you think clubhouses were created? That's where you went to do the dirty dealings.
right? That's where business deals were made. Yeah.
What?
CJ says, so basically we locked in till we in heaven or hell. Basically, that and beyond.
Hey, that's why I respect that. Hey, that's why I respect that dude who was on death row recently. And he had life in penitentiary recently. And he died and they bought him back. He said, it's time for y'all let me out. He's fighting it right now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He's like, hey, hey, I did my time.
Right.
Yeah, really. Hey, I died. I did exactly what it said. Like Chris Rock said, it's all right because it's all white.
It's all white.
How much can I get for $3? Hey, what movie was that? When he was at the rib spot and Isaac Hayes was working the counter.
How much for one rib?
We got to do that. We got to do that. What's up, Keisha?
Can I get a soda? Can you put it in my hand?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, man, if you don't get out of here, man.
So he started to kind of get into acting. You know, he wanted to do a movie called Ragtime, but I don't remember that actor's name. He is very well known. I think he did in the Heat of the Night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he ended up dying, but yeah, he was in the Heat of the Night. He had some other
Heat of the Night, a Soldier Story. That dude is one of the greatest actors ever, man.
Yeah,
he was good. He just has, just like OJ or anybody else in life, he had demons. He had his thing.
He had some demons, Jack.
Yeah. Ooh. I remember. I think they had like an Entertainment Tonight interview with that cat one time. I was like, man, he's on the deep end.
Yeah,
it reached his brother.
That dude was holding drugs down.
Yeah.
And then his 2-year-old drowned during this. It was kind of this period after football. He got into acting. His 2-year-old drowned, and then his cousin, one of their kids, drowned as well. And then he ended up divorcing Marguerite, which is the one that he had the 2-year-old with, and I think his oldest son, I believe.
Marguerite. He had Linnell, and I don't know the son name.
Yeah. And so that was I know that was a tough time. Obviously, that's your kid. You definitely gonna feel that. And then they got into somebody they interviewed. It was like, yeah, well, he basically compartmentalized that, and when he divorced Marguerite, he divorced that. And at the end of the day, you don't know what's going on through somebody's mind. You don't know how they process things. And maybe he did what he had to do to get that and to be able to move forward. But I'm sure there was times that he mourned. I mean, that's your child. So yeah, Howard Rollins, is that the guy's name?
That's him. That's him.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that guy. I don't know what happened to him, but I remember him.
Ragtime was a great movie too.
He was struggling.
1996, he passed away. But yeah, he was in a ton of movies, for sure. And then OJ goes into the Hall of Fame, and then Naked Gun, which was a hilarious movie, man. It was like Will Ferrell before Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
it was just like stupid funny.
Pretty much.
See, if y'all was a little older, y'all like what you say my man name is with the morning show?
Oh, Cole Johnson.
Cole Johnson. If y'all were a little older, y'all would remember, and y'all may have seen reruns. Get Smart, Police Squad. It was right in line with those are the same people.
Right.
I remember the remake of Get Smart. I don't know.
No, that was trash.
The originals, man. The originals.
Yeah, the remake I think was with
he went down. He got in the telephone booth and went down, man. Come on, man.
Yeah,
got the phone in his shoe, man.
But they mentioned that I think it was called Police Squad, and they wanted to basically have a different type of cast, and that's how OJ ended up getting involved in that. And they were like, we were surprised that he was able to act and all that. I think this is one of those people that are so determined, whatever they really put their energy into, they're gonna be successful at it, or they're gonna kill themselves at trying to be successful at it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that in everything he did.
Yeah. And see, you know what the backdrop of this thing is? This is what people need to realize. When we, again, man, I was one of those dudes who excoriated OJ. I called him names, disparaging names, and I said he wasn't down for the cause and all that foolishness, man. But again, as a grown man, as an adult, and using reflection, and using the power of reflection, I'm looking at this going, you know what? OJ Simpson, yeah, we can excoriate him and say, oh man, you doing this. But this is off the heels of, think about this, man. This man came into prominence off the heels of the civil rights movement. Mm-hmm. He got famous the year after Dr. King was assassinated. The 80s, people always make it seem like the civil rights movement was a long time ago. Right. I was born on the heels of the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
Right.
My mom.
And then y'all were born 10 years later.
Yeah.
And that's when OJ is coming into prominence. So it ain't like it was a whole lot of doors open. Again, we use this tunnel vision to see things right now.
Yeah.
And then say, what you should do is this. How?
Why?
How? He was trying to make it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a whole lot of opportunities.
He was basically opening the door. He was the first with the with the sponsorships and with the what's that word I'm looking for? With the when they sign athletes to endorsements. He was the first one to do that. He was the first one to be in certain movies. He was the first one to be this far ahead of a running back.
He was one of the first because again, man, this is why I'll be getting on people's head on my show about being part of knowing your history, because people tell you Michael Jordan's the first dude with a pair of gym shoes out there. Nah, Walt Frazier had Pumas, Kareem had Adidas, Dr. J had All Stars, Chuck Taylor had All Stars. Dr. J had right. Dr. J had had Chapstick. Magic Johnson had Tic Tacs and 7-Up. So OJ was he would probably be the first dude who was doing it big.
You should have told him, so Billy D ain't drinking 40 Coke 45, right?
That's what I'm saying, man.
Right. Hey, the one thing Magic should have been a sponsor of was condoms. I don't know if he ever did it. But.
Yeah, man. Get him in there. Hey, man. They would have said like I can.
The spirit of dark lives.
I had to say that. Hey, shout out to Twitch, man, in the building. He's Captain Birdseye. He said, Ben has a smooth voice. He was a pimp. His name would be Sexual Child. That boy good. That's what
that was good.
Hey, man, I've been told that my whole life, so I'm definitely in the right lane right now.
That boy good.
But yeah, man, classic movie, man. I think we already did it, but anyway, Coming to America is one of my top 5.
Oh yeah, we did Coming to America.
Yeah, we top 5.
We did the second one, then we did the first one.
See, they said, man, Magic Johnson hitting threes on and off the court. Yeah.
Hey, oh yeah.
It was double. Last night I hit him with a triple-double.
Irv, I remember he first got in trouble. Irv said he did a 6-piece. It's like.
Hey, I'm not surprised, man. OJ was the first guy who did endorsements the way Michael Jordan did in the 1990s. You didn't see black athletes push so many products like he did.
Right.
No Diddy. Yeah. That's what we're using instead of pause now.
Yeah.
No, man, I ain't doing that, man. I'm still moving with Diddy, man. Until they charge him with something, I'm still moving with Diddy.
Diddy just in a lot of awkward photos. In a lot of awkward photos, man. There were so many when we were children saying, "Man, we want to be like Juice."
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so you know what? And I think what they were trying to do in this is they were trying to show, you know, obviously the battle between the black community, the LAPD, but later on, and they introduced people. The director, I think Ezra, I forgot what his last name was, Ezra Stewart, maybe, but he was basically putting people in the documentary that knew OJ from OJ in the playing days to OJ when the whole case happened. That was one of the officers, which was Ship, and he knew Nicole and he knew OJ. And I think he was obviously he was mesmerized by him. And then later on, he was like, "Oh man, maybe this dude's different." But he worked in Brentwood. He even said, "Like, I don't even think this is a job. I mean, like, I'm just I'm doing this. He out here chilling. They going to OJ house drinking beers.
We ain't doing that, man. We're good. Yeah, bring a few out.
They chilling.
I used to take them to OJ's house, and they'd be surprised when we dropped by. It was like, "You supposed to be working?"
Exactly. Right, exactly.
Kicking it with Juice.
Right. Yeah. Ezra Edelman. Yeah, appreciate that, Cole. So, but I think he did a great job showing the different situations that happened. So there was another, Rodney King, which is 1991, Latasha Harlan. That one hurt because, you know, having a daughter, you know, she's just in the store buying something. Yeah, there was a scuffle. All right, but does that mean you shoot somebody? The young lady when she's walking away, she left. It was like, okay, this transaction not working out. I'm just gonna leave.
You upset? You more upset than she was. Like she's leaving.
And you're the adult. Yeah. And you know that one was, even the lady that was in the documentary, she was like, that one hurt because I had a daughter. Anybody that has a daughter around that age, that hits you because you know
that hurt more than
that it didn't have to work out that way.
Yeah.
Man. Now that one hit the nation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, that's what I'm saying. This was the first time for me because I had never heard of it. Like I said, that's what I'm saying. It was the 90s were a combination of a lot of things. And now, you know, kind of listen to A-Trap and what Cole was saying. The news was just that. It was neutralized in that area. And you only got 30-minute window to talk about what. And if it was something, you only got maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They gone to something else.
It was a blurb. It wasn't even.
Yeah.
They didn't have I'm assuming they didn't have featured stories, you know, where they sit down and they got, you know, talking about Crime Stoppers and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think the newspaper covered stuff like that. I mean, it wasn't in the newspaper. It was just kind of like.
Actually, it would. Actually, it would be in the newspaper.
Would it be in the newspaper? Okay.
It would be in the newspaper. And that's another reason USA Today blew up, because you would have local news and local media showing out about this, that.
Yeah, I remember USA Today blowing up.
Yeah, and then USA Today covered coast to coast, border to border.
Yeah.
That was their niche. We're gonna talk about everything. We're not just gonna talk about New York news or LA news, or Chicago
and
news.
I think, and this was during the time as well, the Time magazine. You know, there was a guy that was in this. I don't remember his name, but he moved to LA.
Monroe.
And somebody was giving him the kind of the lay of the land. Don't mess with LAPD. But he was there to write stories for Time magazine, which that tells you in that era there was not, obviously there wasn't social media, there wasn't cell phones, there wasn't that media at your fingertips. You really had to get a paper, or you had to get a magazine, or you were traveling or you were on the phone with your relatives and they were telling you what was going on. I mean, so this was like a word of mouth. This was really word of mouth time. Yeah. What's up, Bill for this network and Knox?
Anthony. Believe it or not, believe it or not, man, you could trust the media more back then. Because
I feel that. I can agree. I feel that 100%. I felt like it was doing what they needed to do as much as they could do it. And I think they understood that, hey, this is what I'm giving the people. I feel that for real. I think that's true to A-Trap's point. I felt like that news at the time, it was truly, the Walter Cronkites and the Peter Jennings and
it seems like they were telling more of just the story.
Yeah.
It wasn't a let's tell a skewed view. Right. But I do think there was some people that believed that it wasn't telling the complete story as well.
Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. They weren't telling the entire story, but they
they can't, because there'd be an uprising. They can't.
Yeah,
they can't. Right. But they can still give you the meat of the story, and then you do with that what you will. But
and see, then the federal government was funding the CNNs, the NBCs, the MSNBCs, the CNNs, because I forgot the name of the act that was passed by Colin Powell's son in 1992, which allowed me to purchase the Chicago Sun-Time, a radio station here in Chicago, and a television station here in Chicago. I can't think of it. It was the something act of 1992. This allowed you to control media, and then media became a money-driven entity. Now, Coke and Pepsi are driving forces behind media, which means if it bleeds, it leads.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, there's a show that I'm rewatching now.
I know what you're talking about.
It's with Jeff. I think it's Jeff Daniel.
Yes, that's an awesome show.
The show is amazing. It's underrated, and it's called. Is it Newsroom or?
Newsroom. HBO. Awesome.
HBO. It's Jeff Daniels, and I'm rewatching this show, and I mean, it is too on par with previous elections and what's going on right now, and just, I mean, the show is greatness. I mean, man, I'm rewatching it. It's awesome.
I mean, you could talk about different. There's a show that's on Apple that Steve Carell is in.
Oh, my show, the morning show.
The morning show. There's some truth to that. You can even go to Scandal. Like we think this stuff is like, wow, this is amazing. Like this stuff has already happened. If it's in, like I think A-Trap, you said this. If it's in a film, it's already happened.
Oh yeah. Like I'm gonna say two things to Ben's point. The Steve Carell thing in the HBO, on Apple, was too starkly close to what's his name on the Today Show.
Yep.
It was way too close.
Yeah,
and then
I think it was loosely based off of him. Yeah,
it's what it had to be. It was too in line with that. And then the second thing, it's just like when you're watching these shows, and I tell my son, I was like, nothing is done because it hasn't happened. It's done because it's been experienced. I was like, nothing has been written just because somebody pulled it out of the air. Hey, I got an idea. Yeah, maybe, but it was influenced by something.
Right. Matt Lauer.
Something influenced this to happen.
Right.
So, I mean, it was definitely one of those things why, and that's what it goes back to, this word that everybody's using wrong, this woke word. And I've said this before on another show. Everything is woke. Matter of fact, there was a Nina Simone comment where she's talking about, if you're not creating and writing music or art about what's going on today, she said, I'm writing music about what's going on around me, about what I see, about what I know about. That's being woke. Hell, excuse me. Hello, Bob Dylan. Knock, knock. What? I mean, the cornerstone of folk music, but it's about what was happening. And I've said it before, the man's got a song about the killing of Medgar Eggers. He's got a song about another trial that happened that the white man had got off for killing this man.
Yeah.
These are the stories of the hurricane.
Man, this was, art, poetry, Shakespeare, it's all woke. That's being, I'm just giving you my perspective of what's going on around me. People take that word, they've allowed, and see, that's what politicians do. They take the words that are at ground level and they run with it. And now they put it on a national stage. Oh, this is evil. Oh, this is far right.
Be afraid. Be very afraid of this. And vote for me, because I'm going to help you exterminate this thing you're afraid of. Even though I can't, even though I don't even have that control.
Playing games with the people, man. Playing games with the people.
Yeah, man.
It's all just,
like that class that you can only take in law school. Oh,
Right.
we can't have this class in 8th grade. No kidding.
Yeah, it's not even in the 8th grade.
Right.
And it's an elective.
Right. And Cole says, man, people are so woke. Too many people suffer from insomnia.
Come on, man.
He said the national anchor was considered a trusted person. Walter Cronkite, Dan Rather, Peter Jennings, Tom Brokaw. It is so different now when you've had to struggle as to where, with national anchors. Yeah.
Right.
And by the Rodney King situation, we had Dateline or national late news outlet. And me and Wilkes were talking about this. This guy, and I looked up his name. His name was George. I think it was George Holliday. Was the one that filmed the Rodney King beating. But this guy,
he's a document.
Yeah. He definitely needs one. But this guy had to not only get the video camera, but this is not where you have the handheld real quick.
Right.
You have to get the camera, get a tape, probably charge it up a little bit
with the battery,
and then come back. So I mean, how long was this going on even before you got the camera?
Right. Exactly. Like you said,
that to me.
You don't have to,
wow.
Trust me, that camera's not sitting on standby. You got to put the battery in it.
Yeah.
You got to get an empty VHS tape. Not small. I'm talking about tape this big.
Yeah. You got to put the tape in there. You got to
focus it from the lens.
Right. Exactly.
Wait, get this, y'all. I remember guys because again, the media frames things. They framed it just like they framed it there. Yeah. They was like a drunken driver going 121 miles per hour was beaten by the cops. So you got people on the outside going, man, he need to get whooped, man. He drunk. Because this is when Moms Against Drunk Driving Mad had just become popularized. So they painted him as a heathen.
As a lunatic.
You saw the video, it was like, man, so I used to remember people going, man, he need to get whooped. And I'm like, really?
What? Really?
So and I'm sure, and I don't know what type of car he had.
It was a Hyundai, bro.
Like Hyundai.
That wasn't even going 121 miles.
Yeah, he got that,
the Ford Tempo, my parents.
It might have been a Yugo.
You got that boys in the hood Hyundai. You got that boys in the hood Hyundai, man. Got the real one, man.
Yeah, he got a souped up. He got a souped up Hyundai. And then
here's the crazy thing. I'm looking at these blows this man is taking. I'm like, the dude's almost delirious. They kicking him. And you still swinging at this dude with a baton?
And then they say the phrase that they've been using and that they currently use today, I feared for my life. Mm-hmm. It's 10 against 1.
He's crawling on the ground. What is he going to do?
It's 10 against 1 and you feared for your life. Feared what? What did he have? He didn't have anything on him. If he did have it on him, there wasn't no way he was getting it.
And they still did it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and so
like,
I'm looking for the car.
You're swinging at this dude with a wooden stick, a baton.
Yeah.
Some of them were metal at some point. Some of them were wooden. Dude,
Hyundai Excel
crawling on the ground, man.
Look,
an 87 Hyundai Excel.
Wow.
So it wasn't even a 94.
It wasn't even a 90.
Wow. Yeah, there was no way. Yeah, there was no way that car was going that
121 miles per hour.
It was barely probably going 80.
It probably had 80 on the speedometer.
80 probably. And it was getting us like this.
Yeah, that is shaking. Like, stop, man.
Stop. Cole says, we know how people blindly believe law enforcement today. In 1991, there wasn't a question. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there. Remember, people thought MWA was full of crap when they wrote the song F the Police. Hey, it was people yelling. It was people yelling it at the trial. It was people yelling it at the when the verdict was released. And this is the Furman. Mark Furman came on, and he's like, "Well, you know what could have eliminated this, and shut this down real quick. The chokehold. Like you would have still had him in a chokehold. You would have still beat him.
We wouldn't have had to be beat to death.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. That was a guy that I'm not gonna say I hated him being in this, but I highly dislike.
I loved him being in this.
No.
See, the thing is, Ben, because a lot of people who are friends, you had people, you had the brothers and the sisters on one side, then you had everybody else on the other side. And then throughout the years, you had people gravitate towards the middle, like that one cop that lied and said, "I was on the force for 26 years and I never saw racism." Yeah, because you were being racist.
Why not?
Because and also because you denied to see it. It was going on. You just didn't want to believe it was going on, or you just gave people the benefit of the doubt.
It is. So with that dude, right? We needed Furman on here because see, when you watch Mark Furman on here and you see these dudes, you looked in the eyes of racism. See, without this, you could still argue for the cops. And when you have 20 years later, you have 2 cops on here saying he should have just laid on the ground. They should have let us choke him, and I don't see racism. It's at some hindsight has to kick in at some point. Like after watching this and being older, I should ... But they sitting there going,
hey, they just doubled down. I was there. That didn't happen. Like one of the civil rights activists was saying, you denying what we seeing with our own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this was, and I said this to Wilkes, this was like that time's George Floyd. Because all of the George Floyd murder was on camera. Somebody had it, you seen it all. It wasn't like it wasn't a maybe thing. It was like this happened, point blank, period.
And if you think about it, man, every generation has a moment that will be with them until they die. My mother told me her friends cut school the day Kennedy was assassinated. She said she remembers sneaking and firing up a cigarette that day. The people who like her sister, her youngest sister age, my Aunt Rita, they had the Olympic thing when they kidnapped those people in the 72 Olympics.
Yeah.
When I was in, I had 2 or 3 of them actually.
Yeah.
Because I got the Pope getting shot, I got the president getting shot, I got Bin Laden
getting paid off by the U.S.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, I mean, we got. Yeah, we got 3 of them. I can think of right. Yeah, 9/11
and George Floyd,
Rodney King, George Floyd. I mean, yeah. And I think also what they were trying to do in this is show the regular guy, the Rodney King is getting beat.
Right.
OJ over here, they're going by and saying, "Yeah, everything good, Juice." Oh yeah, we just had a little fight, had a little scuffle. She fell down the stairs a little bit. I'm like, all right, Juice, sure, have a great day.
All right, have a good night, man.
That again is the parallel that they're doing. So I appreciate the way, because people was wondering, like, why are they doing all this that doesn't have anything to do with OJ? It has a direct parallel to OJ, because OJ was doing things and they just said, oh, it's the Juice. I mean, what he gave us beers the other day.
Yeah,
but I think
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah,
remember that portion when the director of Naked Gun was talking about Nicole Simpson, right? And he said she sound terrified.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what terrified sound like, but did she sound terrified to y'all?
She seemed like calm and collected, like she was just trying to tell.
She seemed like she was done with the situation.
Right.
She just seemed like, come get this dude, please.
Right. I'm over this shit.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
She didn't sound terrified. She's just like, I had enough.
And I think it was also interesting how the dude had to put in there, and we went back to the house and we got intimate. Right. You didn't even have to say that, dog. You didn't have to say that. Why do you have to even put that in there? Like,
because he was trying to get him. That man laid up with some chick right now going, I'm smashing. Oh.
You know what? If you go to the documentary part 2, I said that in the documentary. Come on, man. You don't have to say that. She's dead and gone. You didn't have to say that.
Leave that woman
alone. I went back and hit it.
But I think OJ was one of those abusers, one of those people that did not. if you not with me, you can't be with nobody else. That was the whole
Killing
situation.
everybody in the house.
Everybody
gets it. Yeah.
So the police coming out multiple times. Now the thing that shocked me now and when I watched it before was the Marcus Allen, and I don't know if that was a rumor that was going on.
I knew that.
I never heard of that one.
And he denied it. He even denied it during. I'm assuming it was a deposition.
Deposition.
Yeah.
No, hey, unlike Al and Ship or Kick, Marcus Allen, even though he stabbed him in his back, was a real friend. I'm not telling that I smashed my boy old lady because I'm gonna look like a super sucker.
Yeah.
But again, on a serious note, Marcus Allen is the mirror of OJ. Only difference in Marcus Allen and OJ is he didn't beat the chick up. Marcus Allen at USC, Marcus Allen wins the Heisman Trophy. Marcus Allen gets some unusual fame in LA. Marcus Allen marries the white woman. Marcus Allen.
Right.
I heard Eric Dickerson literally say, Marcus is corporate. He ain't gonna say nothing.
Yeah, and then they said it. He was one of Nicole's friends was like he was basically a bigger and better OJ. So I believe.
And, hey, did anybody catch that scene at Nicole and OJ's reception when the chick popped up to say, "Where the drugs at?"
Yeah.
Oh God.
Hey, and that was on home video, man. That was
She say, "Where the drugs at?" I say, "What?"
Yeah, it wasn't no holding back. You also got the Challenger exploding in the air back in 1986. Yeah, I think Wilkes. I think you mentioned that.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah. I mean, so obviously, he didn't get arrested. There was a situation where she called and then they came out and the guy was basically trying to do his job. And OJ was like, "I'm out. Peace." And basically, and then Ship when he got back and he's like, "Yeah, it was a big thing." But Ship was one of those
suckers.
Yeah.
I don't mess with Ship at all.
Now further along, if I remember, because when I'm watching this back, Ship had a vital part into OJ going down, I believe, didn't he?
Yeah.
Let's see. Not just Nicole. Marcus was allegedly with Denise Brown too, Nicole's sister. What's up, everybody? I saw an interview with OJ telling Denise this, man. Hey, Marcus was
man,
getting around.
Realize, man, the Raiders were the Raiders at that point. This dude was the face of the Raiders, and he was the league MVP, and he running around with the hottest dude in town.
Right.
And I just left this. I left San Diego and never went back. He went from San Diego to LA. 2 years later, wins NFL MVP, wins Super Bowl MVP on one of the most popular teams to this day, the Los Angeles Raiders.
Right.
I'm sleeping with everybody in town.
To this day. Like you said, he was the new and improved OJ Simpson.
Yeah.
And then, was that Nicole? Was that Nicole Brown Simpson? Was that her sister? Man, she lying, man.
Yeah, she was lying.
Yeah, she lying, man. Come on, man. She exaggerating, man. Stop it, man. You tripping, man. Like you ain't went at none of these parties, man. Cut it out, man. She tripping.
Yeah, and in perfect fashion of the justice system, they moved the Rodney King trial to whatever the name of that city was with no black jurors. Yeah, exactly. Right. The cops lived in that city. I mean, it was already lined up for them to get off. They put it out, the perfect situation. And even the Times Magazine guy was like, "Yeah, man, that's it. They're going down." And people was like, "Well, same thing with George Floyd." I mean, I was like, "Well, you know what can and can't happen. So
right.
same thing.
Yeah.
Arguably the greatest running back run in Super Bowl II. Talking about Marcus Allen.
Being a Raider fan, I can't help but agree.
Yeah.
I concur, RC. If he was left-handed, he'd be the greatest running back ever.
Match it up.
Yeah. Now, I think one of the most hilarious things in this is OJ ends up having to do community service, and his community service was putting together a golf tournament. Like, that is not community service, man. And he probably had somebody doing that for him. Is he out there practicing golf while he's supposed to be doing community service?
Again,
oh yeah, Simi Valley, where that Rodney King police trial.
That's OJ establishing his foothold. It's like, I need to keep my foothold, even if I get into some kind of trouble.
Oh yeah,
they're still going to be like, "Hey OJ, I'm sorry you got caught, man, but we'll work it out."
That's what a con artist basically does, is that they put themselves in a great relationship with people. So when something goes down, they reach out to that person, make a phone call, and say, "Hey, take care of this for me," or
absolutely,
brush this under the rug for me. And the dude was great at it. You cannot fault this dude for positioning himself to when anything went down. He knew who to call, how to handle it. And then even Nicole would say, "Oh, don't press charges. It wasn't that big of a deal." So like the dude had everybody in his back
people
pocket.
in his pocket. Yeah, he knew.
Yeah.
He knew what was up.
See, the reason I question the whole thing is this: you need to be as angry with Nicole. I mean, everybody needs to be as angry with OJ as Ron Goldman's dad. Nobody else matched his anger.
Yeah. Oh, he was. Yeah.
Oh, that dude was
he was raging.
Any bit of money, which I think they talk about this in this one or maybe a different documentary, but any bit of money OJ had, that dude wanted a piece. He was like, I'm getting the my cut. Right. And A-Trap, I think you mentioned this the last episode, is that when the family of Nicole was like siding with OJ, like, nah, their whole family was on payroll. So when she did leave, she was pretty much on her own. And so, you gotta factor that part in. It wasn't like she had family, but it seemed like the female, I don't remember her name, but was her close friend, was kind of like her family.
Yeah. Her name is irrelevant, but the thing is, man, this is a perfect example of when you have affluence, everybody gets behind that cause.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a comfort in knowing. I mean, I would probably do what I want to do too if I knew Wilkes was the judge and you were the DA. Faye Resnick, that is her name.
Faye Resnick, yep.
Faye, yeah.
Hey man, she was heavy on here too. She was one of them, like, I'm Nicole's friend, but he tried to rush up on me, but I said no, OJ, don't do that, OJ.
I don't believe it either.
I don't believe it either. Yeah.
Hey, stop, Faye.
You know why I don't believe that? And it has nothing to do with that, no inner circle and a culture. Right. I mean, I think it's a cultural thing. I found out that Jackie O's sister was dating JFK first.
Yeah.
Jackie Kennedy's sister was dating. And then Jackie O's sister was dating Jackie O's husband, Mr. Onassis. She was dating him before Jackie O got to him. I'm like, they passing y'all around like a cold.
That's what I'm saying. That's what and we act like we just all hunky-dory, we saints out here, nuns. Like, stop.
Right, exactly. Right.
And I got a homeboy, we literally call him Slime Ball. And I know the Slime Ball code. This homie, he used to tell me, he's like, man, I ain't trying nothing with nobody who don't give me the signals. If you don't let me know that it's good, I ain't trying it.
Yeah.
So OJ, he wouldn't have tried her if she wouldn't have let him know that you could be tried.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I agree with this, Cole. Ron Goldman's father, when I first saw him, I thought he was related to Nicole because of his anger and disgust. I thought too. I'm like,
That's
this
what I
dude,
thought.
he
It
was
had me
gonna
mixed up.
if he died first, he was gonna go to his grave trying to take down OJ.
I thought this same comment. I was like, damn, well, who's this? I'm like, is he Nicole's dad or what's happening? I mean,
Yeah, and maybe they get to this. Maybe they get to this in this documentary,
I was
talking
so
about
confused.
his whole take and opinion, because this dude
I
was
was so
not.
confused.
He was
I'm like,
not shutting them down.
I couldn't tell who he was angry about, who he was angry for. I'm like,
Yeah.
is that your daughter? Like, what is happening right now?
Nah,
Like,
and you don't hear the Nicole's dad. I think the sister was on here, saying she wanted to get away and she was happy to get away, but you didn't hear anything from the parents.
ever.
Yeah,
ever.
Cole says, I remember hearing Denise say that OJ in effect paid off the family and supported all of them. Yeah, they were all on the payroll. They were like, nah, Nicole, this.
I remember
right?
They said her dad told her, go ahead, that black guy here.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, he'll do better. He'll do better next time. Don't worry.
Yeah. Look, stick out your hand. Now do this.
Yeah.
Bob and weave.
Hey,
I'm gonna give you this Muhammad Ali tape. Go ahead and look at it.
Work on your game. Work on your game.
Go watch this in the closet.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You see that peek? You see Mike Tyson with that peekaboo? You got to get that, baby.
Yeah.
I love you. All right, have a good one.
And see, that's one of the reasons I personally believe her family know that he didn't do it. Because it's not enough Ron, that's how you act when someone kills your child.
Right. Not kill your payment income.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, nah.
Not kill your income.
They know something that we don't know.
Oh, yeah. Stop it.
Yeah.
To the grave, baby. To the grave.
Yeah. So April 29th, 1992, the cops were not guilty. And the only people surprised that there was going to be a riot was the LAPD. They act like they didn't know it was going to happen, and the chief was at home or at somebody's house talking about police reform.
No, remember, he said it was going to happen, and then he went to a anti-police reform rally.
Yeah.
Only people who were surprised was the media. He told them, hey, man, they're going to burn this judge down if when they get off.
Which is exactly what happened. And I
we
think
gonna burn it all right.
Yeah. And Mark Furman's first comment was, I don't understand why they burned down their own community.
Boy, shut up, man. The same reason y'all celebrate when the Red Wings win the fucking Stanley Cup. Shut up, man. Stop. Like, stop it, man. Cut it out. Cut it out.
Yeah.
Man. Goofy shit.
Yeah, and they like the Times Magazine guy was saying, you get to a point to where you got to get this, out, and you need somebody to see your frustration, because when you go through a whole complete trial of everything on tape, and and that person gets off, and then you have Latasha Harlan, the Korean lady, they end up shooting her. She ends up getting probation. You murdered somebody again on tape, and you get probation.
Come on,
man. In point blank range, right, when they're not even looking at you.
Stop.
So, like, at some point, it's going to explode.
Right. Like, I mean, it's going to boil over. You're going to get tired of seeing that after a while. I mean,
and being a criminal justice major, get this. If someone runs in your house, either one of y'all houses right now, and go, oh, there, and y'all pull out y'all gun as they run away and you shoot them in the back, you going to jail. If they ran in your house with a gun and turn and run and you shoot them in the back, you going to jail. Want me to tell you how I know? That's what Don King did time for.
Yeah.
Wow. Now
shoot him in the back.
Florida,
he shot him in the back.
Though.
Yeah. Can't shoot him in the back.
When they what's that? Stand your ground.
Stand your ground.
But you still can't shoot them in the back.
Still can't shoot him in the back. Yeah, because that's like, well, he's fleeing the scene.
Yeah, he's running away, so you shouldn't shoot at that point.
Warning
how about
shots,
this?
maybe, but
How about this? If somebody runs in your house right now and he's running at you, and they say, "What happened?" and you say, "I shot him because I had to defend my home," you going to jail.
Castle doctrine, though, in the state of Texas.
Yeah, no. But if you say I was defending my home, you going to jail.
That's why I wondered. See, the castle doctrine, I wonder if that changes that here in Texas.
It's the verbiage. If you say I was defending my family, you stay.
Yeah.
If you say you defending your home, which is an inactive.
But that's what I'm saying. The castle, I thought the castle doctrine, because your home, your car, that's your castle, that's your domain.
But you have to say you were defending yourself.
Yeah.
If you say home, now it's an inanimate object that can be replaced. If you say myself, you can blow somebody, you can shoot somebody in the head.
Yeah. Knock his block off.
See, RC says he didn't do time for that death. He went to jail for stomping a man out to death because he owed him money.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah.
It definitely seemed like Don King would do something like that.
Hey, man, Don King was a guy, man. I mess with Don King hard, man. I don't know about. Hey,
Don King ain't don't take no shit, man.
Hey, Don King, one of my heroes.
Only in America.
Right. I ain't mad at Don King.
So kind of how this ended, obviously, the riot happened and the police handled it poorly. The city got, shut down. But it fast forwarded to 1993 is when OJ breaks in, and that was kind of the final straw, I think, for Nicole. She ends up filing for divorce. And then it kind of ended with them talking about her dating Marcus Allen, and people did not want to talk about that. They went to the guy, I forgot, I don't remember what his name was, but they went to one of the guys who was like, I really don't want to talk about that. So that was definitely a thing that did happen, but they didn't want to get going into it. And so part two ends. Part two pretty much ends there, and beginning of part three, they get right into the phone call and everything. So that's what we'll be going to next. But again, each one of these it's giving you a full view of what's going on, in that area at that particular time. It says Annie was going to tell the IRS on her also. We talking about Nicole?
Oh, probably.
That's a cool name.
Probably.
Yeah. What's up, JB? Says Jungle Brother said, yo, what's up? I'm only here because I owe Brian 33 cents. 33 cents?
Only 33 cents?
Hey, man. Debts got to be paid. That's all I got to say. Warren.
Like Stewie on
oh yeah. What's my money, man?
Yeah, my money, man.
Money.
All right, man. I'm gonna catch you tomorrow. Better have it tomorrow. Hey man, that's one of the funniest episodes. All right. So final thoughts. We won't do a mic rating. We'll save that for the end. But any final thoughts on part two of OJ Made in America? And we'll go to you first, A-Trap.
I mean, this was an excellently done documentary. It put America on. You know what? If you watch this with an open mind, this put America on trial.
Yeah, you're right.
You can do all this hemming and hawing about OJ this and it did he do it and this, that, and the third, but it shows this was the precursor to MAGA. This is MAGA. This is MAGA without a name.
Right.
This
Absolutely.
lets you know that it is a system in play to separate people. You can get into the minutia of flavors, this crayon box that we live in, black, white, yellow, brown, gold, orange, whatever. But this lets you know We're gonna drive a line right down the middle of the road, and some people gonna be on one side, and other people gonna be on the other. Because what they don't, even in this documentary, they don't even mention the fact if you watch it instead of just listening, and you see the people, you see just as many white people on the free OJ side as black people.
Absolutely.
They made it. They even as the documentary is being spun, you still hear the fact that black people saw this and white people thought that. But when you watch it, you see just as many white people on that side, and that lets you know this is a class thing. This isn't a race.
Race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because contrary to popular belief, poor white people get their head bust over by the police.
Man, with no problem.
You can keep this division going if you want. Now,
It's always
do
been
it if you want.
that.
But hey, at the end of the day, they bust us in the head first. But as soon as we land on the ground bleeding, they bust you in your head too.
Right. No, you're right.
Yeah, and a follow-up to the question, I'm assuming this is she, said yes, because she sold her home, then bought a condo. Talking about Nicole.
That's what her friend was saying,
Yeah. And she was not willing to give up anything, which, I mean, I get it. If you're afraid, you're not going to sell and move back in with the guy you're afraid of. So, I mean,
I got no money.
Right, yeah, he was the breadwinner.
And then when he bust in and said, and you were sitting there, I saw you sitting in the living room, sucking it. Did y'all hear that part?
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
all right.
it was being watched.
Man,
Did you hear when he yelled it though?
Yeah, in the background.
I didn't hear that part.
Hey, go back to the part when they were talking about the phone call. And you hear him in the back. I can't believe you. You said our kids in the other room and you living in the living room sucking it.
Yeah, he yelled in the background. Okay, Oran, I see you, baby.
What we're about to see is the reason why we were all so drawn into the upcoming trial. Race drives the bus when it comes to casual nationwide interest. I agree. I mean, they sold it well. It was one of the first that was on a court TV.
Oh yeah.
I said this before. They rolled the TV. Y'all remember that TV that was on that
We went to the library.
They rolled the TV inside for us to see the verdict. So that just tells you how
they had us go to the library. I won't forget it. I was in Mr. Heath's math class.
I was at McDonald's.
Getting the Big Mac.
He stopped teaching math and we went to the library. We went down the hall, single file line into the library and sat down and watched.
Single file,
man. Single file.
You're like, y'all hurry up.
Yeah.
Don't touch each other. Hurry up. I'm trying to get to this too.
Yeah. My man, out here getting the fish fillet, man.
I got a funny story about the day that Rodney King verdict came in. I didn't know, because again, this ain't like now where you can get it on your phone, you can get it anywhere.
Yeah,
I remember immediately. It was my kid's mother's birthday. So I'm about to go work out with Jeremy, Shay, Chris, Benito. Watching Rap City. And I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I'm chilling. And they flash from BET to somebody getting punched in the face at the courthouse. I don't know what's going on. So I'm blowing the channels up like, gotta find it. I want to see that again. But now I turn to CNN just in time to see Reginald Denny getting smashed. I was like, whoa! But I still want to. I'm so fixed. I don't realize that LA is on fire because of this riot.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, forget it, man. I ain't gonna find it. They ended Rap City with this news mess. I'm oblivious because I'm in Chicago.
Right.
I go to the train because my man Jeremy lived 2 train stops away. Ain't no need driving there. And we gonna get busted after we work out like we do every week, and they gonna drive me home. So, and I'm like, I go back. No, I was whatever. I have a natural scowl. People tell me all the time. My mother used to tease me. Like my mother would come home and say, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Nothing." She's like, "I guess you just ugly then." So I have a natural all the time. It's like a running joke. I have a natural scowl. So I got my headphones on, I got my backpack on, and I'm walking to the train. Man, white folks getting out of my way like I had a gun. Now the train is usually you packed on like sardines. The doors open.
Yeah.
All the white folks look at me, and they just get out of my way. I'm like, oh, it ain't that. I'm thinking. I'm listening to whatever I'm listening to. I'm I'm in my zone. I'm getting ready to work out. And I'm like, man, ain't that many people around me because it's usually like this. Ain't nobody on the train. It's 5 o'clock. It's rush hour. This train's supposed to be crowded, but I ain't gonna argue with it. I get off the train. Folks still getting out of my way because I'm in the predominantly white part of the of the city. I walk to Jeremy crib. I go upstairs, sit down because we used to work out his crib. And I sit down, take my bag off, and they go, "Hey man, are they going crazy? Like are they riding in Chicago?" I was like, "For what?" It's like the Rodney King thing, man. And they turn on the TV. Look at LA. I was like, "Oh, that's why people were getting out my way."
Yeah, that's what it was. The Red Sea was parting. Yeah,
right. I mean, people getting out my way in the street.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, this is easy because it's usually you usually weave in that part of the city.
Like, what's happening right now?
Man, folks getting out my way like I was radioactive.
This man said radioactive.
I'm telling you, dog. I would never
Spider-Man. Yeah. Jungle says Court TV was inspired by the OJ trial. That's how Nancy Grace became famous.
Mm-hmm.
Man, she's annoying. All right. Any final thoughts on this part 2, Wilkes?
Yeah, just for me, I felt like now they just really want to stick it to it. They about to pile it on.
Yep.
They about to step on the accelerator. So it's just one of those things where it's like A-Trap said, it's not race at this point. It's a class thing. And that's why I was saying earlier, OJ knew that I need a foothold and keep my foothold on. I got to keep my grip around this status because this is where I continue to put myself so far that not even the hands of the law can reach me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got to put myself connected. Yeah, because I'm so connected. I got to have mob ties. Like I got to be so close where I'm protected. Even if I do go down, I got people willing to step in and continue building my empire while I'm not in the picture.
Right. By one of the biggest mobs at that time, the LAPD.
OJ understood.
Dudes coming over knowing by name can come by at any point in time. Yeah. Yeah. Bring your girlfriend by too.
Yeah, man.
I need to show her something in the bedroom real quick.
Yeah, exactly. We sharing everybody over here, baby. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it was a class thing. So yeah, he knew what was going on. I mean, it started in college. He already knew I gotta start my foothold. People chanting OJ at USC and the house that OJ built and all that. Like,
I'm gonna start building that image right now, and it's just gonna grow.
I gotta start now.
The legend is just gonna grow.
So yeah, absolutely.
Remember, he said it. He said, "Hey, I knew this wasn't gonna last long, so I had to start thinking about my life after football."
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. It's gonna run out.
All right,
45 minutes away from the city of Chicago. What? Take a key, north or south?
All right. Respond to that. So we know where you are. Appreciate that. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate all the viewers on tonight. Updates on the score. The Mavs are up 57-45. The Rangers lost and the Stars are up 2-0. So we got the trifecta going on tonight as far as Dallas sports. And so next week we're gonna do part 3. And part 3, let me see what that says. We're waiting on a comment to come in, but let's see. Part 3 is definitely going to get into the piling on part. An examination of OJ's arrest for the brutal murder of his estranged wife and acquaintance, followed by the attempted escape. Turned into that whole driving in the Bronco, that they definitely about to pile that on.
How about Frankfurt?
Just like if Elvis was on trial, would they would that convict him?
Nope.
No.
Nah, hell no.
Hell no.
No.
Hell.
Hey man, Donald Trump said he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, and then you had a bunch of people in the MAGA rally saying, "Yep."
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The man said I can shoot somebody in the middle of Times Square and I won't lose votes. What?
I watched all of it and it was great. Yeah, man. This is my second time around watching it. And,
First time
to be
for
able
me.
to watch it and then talk about it, you know, you get people's perspective.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the
I
comments.
hate I didn't watch it when it came out. I knew of it, but I just didn't.
I'm actually glad you didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're giving the fresh perspective on this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
What's the one before that? It's like two before that.
Before
This one, the Oak Hill 04.
Oh, Tinley Park. Okay, by Frankfurt and everything. Yep.
Yeah, this is your first time tuning in. Yeah. Pussycat Dolls. All right. Well, we are gonna round
the subscribe
it
button, Pussycat.
Yeah,
definitely on the
come on in.
yeah, on the BS3 network. Also, the End of the Bench. If you like this content, I'm sure you will like the End of the Bench media as well. So we're gonna go ahead and end it. A-Trap, you want to end it for us? Let's see. Said yes to that question. So
Yeah, my Uncle Richard live out there.
oh, cool. All right.
Y'all already know, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your support. Now go over to the End of the Bench and do the same.
Appreciate you.
Hey man, thank y'all for tuning in as usual. I ain't gonna lie. Initially, I was like, man, this might not be that good, but I thought you guys have watched it, so I really appreciate it. Yep, and it's more fun with Wilk's fresh eyes on it, and it's even better than it was. I remember watching this thinking this is pretty good, and now I'm really enjoying it. So with that being said, man, y'all already know it's the middle of the month. I'm gearing up for the first of the month. So if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God. God, and Diddy.
Yeah, go Diddy. Shut your white mouth.
I'm telling you.
Shut your white mouth, Diddy. Hey, hey, man, for real, I'm rolling with Diddy, man. Diddy, my cousin on my auntie, sister, nephew side, man. I'm rolling with Diddy.
Hey, we'll see, man. Hey, they're trying to take Diddy down, man, for everything.
Trying to take Diddy down, man. Look, as far as I see, the only thing he might be is bisexual. That's his business.
But this is
That man kept the club pumping in the 90s. Forget what y'all talking about.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna hit you with these hits.
That No Way Out album.
Man, he bought us Craig Mack. He bought us Flavor in the Year. 112. Total.
Yeah, he was good.
I mean, not Total.
Total.
Not Escape.
Yeah, not Escape. When
Not
the
Escape.
dude
Mary J. Blige, Jodeci. I ain't trying to hear that, man. If that man bisexual, that's his business.
Once again, like I said, you have legacy that you build.
No Diddy.
Hey, I'm with Diddy, man. He just can't kiss me.
Yeah.
Hey, you might invite you to one of the parties.
Party down. You gotta tell him no.
Yeah, don't go, man. Don't. Hey, A-Trap, don't go, man.
Hey, I'm going there, man. Just can't touch me. I ain't with it.
Hey, man. You may put something in the drink, man. You may not have an option. Man.
Hey, I drink my own drink.
I ain't drinking.
I got a flask, Jack.
Yeah, A-Trap, so I got this camel backpack, man. I got my own water.
I got the old Air Jordan joint right here, man.
Yeah, he's I'm good.
Air Jordan joint. Yeah, I got it all. Hey, watch this.
What do you got over there? What do you got?
Virginia's finest.
Hey, you ready? BYOB.
Yeah,
man. Diddy, hey. Keep making them hits, Diddy. Take that.
He's totally
take that. No Diddy.
I'll see y'all tomorrow at 6 p.m. Go to THAENDOFDABENCH and subscribe. 6 p.m. I don't know what I'm talking about tomorrow, but it should be good. You see at the bottom of the screen, the end of the Bench Media on
6
YouTube.
p.m. tomorrow. There will not be a Queen 3 and King on BS2 Network, but definitely check out the end of the bench tomorrow. I didn't ask you
about what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and what you need to do.
That's a perfect lineup right there. But all right, we'll catch y'all next week.
All right. And boo to Amanda Seals. Boo.
Hey, she was annoying and insecure. So I was like, if you were this annoying in this show, you annoying real. But anyway.
I don't even like Tiffany Haddish. You know it's tough when she gets you sticking up for people that you ain't even a fan of.
All right. See y'all next week.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.